A midweek update for you guys. We have 350 million ADA on the line with this net change limit. We need to vote this through or else potentially we won't see progress within the Cardano ecosystem. So this is a big talking point at the moment. We also have some updates around Draper U, Buidler Fest that is coming up in Da Nang in the end of this week actually, and also various updates around the DeFi ecosystem. So there's some opportunities out there for you guys. I'm going to mention a few there, and then big shout outs for various projects that are working and building continuously within the Cardano ecosystem. Thanks for joining me, guys. I usually concentrate on the governance side of things, but I've got a lot of project updates in this one as well. But before we get started, hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe on your way in, but let's get into it. So this first news update here, this is around the net change limit. Now, this is of governance voting, governance info action at the moment, and it's the NCL is essentially the limit of ADA that we can withdraw from Cardano's treasury within the budget year. And at the moment, it's set to the end of this year, 2025, and it's been proposed that the limit be 350 million ADA. That's quite a lot of ADA there. And at today's price of ADA actually translate to just under 240 million. So that's quite a lot of money at stake here. It's essentially all these projects are putting up the proposals. If you want to watch my last week's midweek update, I go through a lot of these proposals, budget proposals that are being put up at the moment. But essentially, these projects can draw on that amount of funding to start building and do whatever they need to do in the ecosystem. And IOG, Amerigo, and Cardano Foundation all have very large proposals looking into pulling in from that treasury to build what they need to do. Now, this post from Charles here talks about the need to get this over the line. And I personally believe that we do, because if we don't get this, it's going to delay this budget process for even longer. So at the moment, we're voting on all the various budgets to start building out the various aspects of Cardano, such as Laos, scaling, Hydra, Catalyst for next 3 rounds as well. So there's a lot of funding that needs to be pushed through. And if we don't, and if we can't come to an agreement, then we won't see movement on this. Now, a lot of people have put forth their arguments for and against this as well. And I've already voted on this, and I'll put in my rationale here at the end of it as well. But I usually put it on the Learn Cardano website. I just haven't had the chance to yet because I've got all these presentations I have to do. So let me read through these comments here. So Jim here is opposed to it. And then Charles responds, if we go to the RFP for everything, IOG will not participate and will eventually exit all development after reaching a stopping point. It's a race to the bottom and it's not sustainable. So essentially, all of these core submissions into the budget process should go through an RFP process. So essentially, 3 or 4 entities may submit budget requests to build out the core infrastructure of Cardano. And based on that, the DREPs and the Constitution Committee will look through all these various budget proposals and then award the best RFP to continue building out Cardano and all the features, etc. The only problem here at the moment is that IOG is the only entity that is fully capable of building things out at the moment for Cardano. I know that isn't very decentralized, and eventually we'll get to a point where the development of this will become more decentralized. It will take, I'd suspect, another 4 or 5 years, and would have to go through this budget proposal 4 or 5 more times to get to a fully decentralized point. But we are getting there, we're moving there, and we're seeing other agencies, other entities step up and start putting in RFPs as well and budget requests to start building out other aspects of Cardano and changing the language, for example, of the Cardano node to Go or Ouroboros, and making it more decentralized that way. So there's definitely movement there, just that we're not at that point yet. So we've got some more of the conversation here. Why don't you want to go the RFP route? What's so daunting in this process? Competition breeds excellence. It does not for this type of software. It will be a race to the bottom, and the counterparty isn't sophisticated enough to understand the nuances. This is a red line for us. I won't put my people through it. We will all lose money and eventually have to leave. It sounds a little bit over dramatic here. He's probably right. It's like all these engineers that have been working on the Cardano nodes, Cardano software, everything related to the infrastructure behind Cardano have been working on this for the last 7 years. So they do have the depth of experiences and understand all the nuances here. So that's definitely true. And at this point in time, we are not ready to RFP this process. We just don't have the skills, like I was saying before. And Umed here replies, it's hard for me to believe we don't have enough smart people in Cardano to put together a comprehensive spec list that will account for all of the required nuances. We kind of do, but we just don't have the time for this at the moment. The code is open source. What are your chances that the competitors will read through it and not get it? There are not a lot of smart people, and there's a lot of contributors to the ecosystem. I totally agree with that, but it's not enough. We really don't have enough developers in the ecosystem to build out everything that is needed. Charles here continues, the institutions aren't strong enough and act as a counterparty for evaluating bids and firm fitness. Everyone seems to have issues with Intersect and then wants to hand them absolute power to choose winners and losers. So as you can see, Charles is essentially going to pull the plug on the whole RFP process and not even bother. And, I kind of could see him pulling because, he's got focuses. IAG has focus on Midnight, the next evolution of blockchain tech. So the fourth generation of blockchains where you've got privacy integrated in as well. So this, I totally agree, could be a sticky point for IAG and could just pull out. So at the moment, I really am pushing just to vote things through and get things done. Now IAG's proposal, I have to add this in, it isn't the full 350 million ADA. Their proposal, I think it was 45 million USD, so I think it's like 96 million ADA, so it's only a third, essentially just under a third of that full amount, plus there's all these other entities that need funding as well, but it's not the full thing. They're not going for 350 million. So we have people voting. So Patrick Tobler here, prominent member within the ecosystem, voted no on the 350 million net change limit. I believe it's too high. I'd like to see it below 250 million. 250 million, I think, is a good number as well. Like that, I'll talk about my understanding and my rationale in a moment. But let's get the budget out soon so we can fund IAG development. Don't forget, we already at the end of April, we have no clear proposed budget. We don't have a net change limit. Intersect seems to be still trying to find its way. We'll vote on another net change and another budget likely in January next year. So in 7 months, we don't need that much budget for 2025. So yep, I agree with you there, Patrick. And we just need to get things rolling. But can we get to an agreement with everyone on this? Maybe, maybe not. Linda here writes, yes, I voted yes on 350 million ADA net change limit. By voting no would risk a 60-day delay in funding, stalling innovation, missing out on crucial community funding due to IAG's likely dominance in funding requests, and absorbing most of the available net change limit. Addressing the concerns around yes vote, treasury depletion, most of the funding will come from the treasury inflows, which will amount to roughly 250 to 300 million ADA. Even if the full 350 million ADA is spent, it is currently a burn rate of likely it will still take 15 to 20 years. Completely agree with this. And this is one of my rationales as well. The current inflows from fees that we get is around that 300 million mark. And this was the part of the rationale to decide on that 350 million ADA as that initial point. If we are pulling in from fees 300 or so million ADA, and the likelihood that this development of layoffs, scaling, etc., more catalyst funding, the more of this funding that goes out there, the more adoption, the more attention on the Cardano ecosystem, we should see the drive up of transactions and everything else around it, raising more funds. So the idea is that we spend the money to generate more revenue and more activity on chain. So this we should see be replenished quite easily. So I'm not really feeling it, guys. The argument that we'll deplete our treasury so quickly, I just don't see it, especially when we're generating enough to keep it sustained. Let me continue here. Sell pressure, minimal. Even if the entire 350 million were distributed, it wouldn't be sold all at once. Totally agree with you, Linda. It's done in milestones, especially with Catalyst, which runs. So this funding would be spread across 3 different Catalyst fundings, probably to mid next year. And that Catalyst funding also gets chopped up into further milestones. So you don't see the big sell impact at once. We would not see 350 million ADA get distributed and sold. You see that all staggered out over time. So yes, it will be sold. Maybe not all of it. Maybe a large portion will also be saved and stored in treasuries and vaults of these various projects. But the sell pressure won't be initially in one go. It'll be spread out over a long period of time. To put things in perspective, in the last 24 hours alone, ADA trading volume across sectors was approximately 600 million, or nearly 1 billion ADA. That kind of volume can be absorbed. Any moderate sell-offs from treasury disbursements without crashing the price. Totally agree. Need to move forward? Yes, we need to move forward. We need to get this whole budget process organized and struck off. Like it's taking so long. Like this whole budget process started roughly late January, early February, and it's mid-April, almost end of April now. It's the 23rd of April, and we're not getting anywhere. We still have so many proposals to vote on. This is taking forever. If we go for another net change limit and reduce that number to, let's say, Patrick's proposed 250 million, it's going to take another 30 or so days, another 5 epochs to go through and vote on that. So if we vote no for this one, then we vote yes for the lower value. It's another 30, 40 days before that is going to happen. So it's reducing our time period by another month. Oh, what else is Linda say here? Net change limit is just a cap. The amount of 350 million ADA limit is just a maximum. Yes, that's right. That is totally right. With all the budget proposals out there, there's many that have been submitted, and I'm looking through them, and I just think it's crap. It's just utter crap and should not be voted through and shouldn't make it into this particular budget. I'm voting on mostly the core stuff and what is essential to get Cardano through 2025 and take opportunities of potential bull runs this year. I'm a bit more on the conservative side, a little bit more pessimistic about a bull run this year. I don't see it with the current economy and all these wars that are going around. But if it does happen, we need to be ready for it. So I'm voting for the core things that need to be done, such as the IOG budget and core infrastructure stuff that needs to be pushed out, and a little bit of marketing and awareness just to remind people that we exist. So we don't need to spend all that 350 million. So vote for something a little bit more moderate and get things that are just essential over. So we may see, like, for example, I may vote yes for a maximum of 150 million worth of ADA projects. So, you know, it's that kind of thinking that we need to remind ourselves as well. So if you see other projects out there that look like grifts, like they're just trying to milk the treasury, vote no. It's quite easy. All right, what do we else? Okay, so this is the other aspects around it. But if you want to read this, I'll put links down below. You can see Linda's rationale here as well. Now, there are alternatives, and I'm going to give a big shout out to Jane here. Jane is a really great Cardano community member. Please follow her. Am I following her? Yes, I am. Now, she is, I believe, a retired lawyer, and she's been going through like the 1694 Cardano Constitution and made many recommendations about simplifying the language. It's really complex. It's way too much. But she's also tightened up the language of this Cardano net change limit for 2025 and put up this brand new proposal for anyone to grab and put into another governance info action. So governance action submitted, blah, blah, blah. So this is all the details here. She's proposing for a slightly less value here of 200 million ADA, which, I'm fine with as well, because that's within my ideal budget restrictions that I'll be voting for. So if anyone has the spare 100,000 ADA and can get this up and running as quickly as possible, then we could possibly push this net change limit of 200,000 through a lot quicker. I don't know if we can, but maybe we can set a quicker time limit. Not sure. Maybe because we've got eyeballs on this 350 million one, we can get this one pushed through quicker. I'm not sure how that time limits of these governance actions work, but this is a full template. So if someone out there had a full, had the budget, not the budget, the deposit required, that 100,000 ADA to submit this one, you can. So Jane, thank you so much for your time and effort and contributions to the Cardano community there. But that would be brilliant if someone could do that. And if it works within timeframes to get this pushed through quicker, that can work too. But overall, my rationale for this is that we need to get the ball rolling. We need to push through whatever we can so that we can get the budget process started and start getting ready for a potential bull run. I do have conservative views in regards to how much the Cardano treasury should be spent every year. So we don't need to spend that whole 350 million. I know there's arguments, if there's 350 million, people are going to try and spend it, sure. But DREPs are the guardrails here. People such as myself and many others in the community are looking at these proposals and just shaking our heads going, no, this shouldn't be passed through. So I would vote no for many of the proposals out there. And I'm still going through them. We're supposed to only be spending 8 hours a week or a month at the most on this stuff, but it's taking a lot more time at the moment. But anyway, my rationale is that the 350 should be pushed through. We don't need to spend it all. The Cardano treasury will replenish it back, and hopefully the activity that we see from the results of the approved budgets do increase the value and activity and transactions, volume, everything around the Cardano ecosystem. So that's my rationale. I will put it up on the website, and I've actually already voted yes last week when people were talking about this. So I'm way ahead of the game here. I didn't wait to the last minute. I thought it should be pushed through. Just didn't have time to put out the rationale. But if you want to find out more information about any of that, I'll put links to everything, the net change limit, governance action. It is all on gov.tools. You can find it all there. But links in the show notes down below for you guys. All right, so moving on to some other news updates. This is updates from Cardano and the Draper U program. So for those that didn't catch up with this, Draper U is a startup accelerator program where all these 20 Cardano projects, some of them weren't Cardano projects, some of them came from Ethereum, etc., but they're all over in the Silicon Valley at Draper U, being onboarded into the program. So this program will take them through VC funding, startup accelerator stuff, and get them to the point where they're got their company ready to pitch to VCs. So Draper U, awesome program. Cost us quite a lot of ADA for this process. It was a catalyst thing, but these projects are going to be poised to accelerate their growth over the next year. So really excited to see what happens from all of this. Now, this post here is just the guys and girls having fun with the Draper U Tesla Cybertrucks. So I guess they got a fleet of Cybertrucks there, just messing about. But it's awesome to see the teams, being a part of the residency program. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of this whole thing. We've got a lot of really cool projects that are a part of this. Let me just pull up the actual projects themselves. So give you all a reminder of who actually came through and got to the end of this. There's quite a few posts here. Here's some more happy snaps of all of them. But let me just go down. There was one big post where it had all their icons. Here we go. So these are all the projects that managed to get through. So there's a lot of projects that you may recognize there as well. Some projects I haven't heard from in ages, like Crasher. I haven't heard from them in ages. And Curate, I finally worked out who they were. They're one of the Australian guys got over there as well. But some of these other projects here, which caused a bit of controversy, this open food chain, this particular project here came over from Ethereum. And there's a couple of other ones as well. I can't remember what was. I think go Rosen as well. It wasn't exactly from, it's not Rosen Bridge that you normally would be familiar with, but they're coming over from other ecosystems. And I think XBFi was one of them as well. Might have been something else. Yeah, they're into gambling. So completely different, not from the Cardano ecosystem, but if they're bringing in users from other ecosystem, integrating in Cardano and onboarding more users and expanding their reach, great. I don't really have an issue with that. I know there's a lot of Cardano projects that could have had more exposure that essentially do what some of these other projects here do, but it is what it is. These VCs decided on the final shortlisting, but it's good to see that over 70% of the projects are Cardano projects and have been building in the space for a long time. So congratulations to all those teams, seriously. Some of the team members continued on with this brilliant hackathon for the Masumi Hackathon in San Fran. So a couple of them stayed on, and let me just play this video here in the background. But Masumi is all about building AI agents and integrating blockchain there. So they've got blockchain marketplace, so you can build these AI agents, and I guess it trades data over the blockchain. So this is the startup groups. You can see them all working hard in each one of these little hubs, building out whatever they're building. I don't know what they're up to. Would have been great to see some of the pictures afterwards, but we do have the winners here. So we've got some familiar faces. We've got the Gero Wallet guys. I don't know. Yep, the Gero Wallet guy here. I think it was Adam. We've also got some other people from ZK Fold there, Vespa Wallet, and XBFi winning out the honors of the hackathon winners. So awesome stuff, guys. Yeah, this is really cool. So some of them went over for the Draper U stuff, decided to hang around for this hackathon too, and took honors there too. So awesome work for Vespa Wallet and ZK Fold and XB. They're all at Draper U too. So amazing stuff. Now, continuing on with the builders in the ecosystem, there is Buidler Fest. And this is a Cardano builder specific event where all the top Cardano developers are heading over to Da Nang in Vietnam for a little meetup conference. No cameras, no schedule really. They're going to go through and see some presentations from various projects. I believe Midgard is doing a presentation on their tech for their L2 solution. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of that. But basically, this is all the big brains within the ecosystem coming together and saying, hey, we could do this, we could build this. What about this? Have you thought about these ideas, etc.? So this is really exciting stuff. So all the top names that you would expect in the ecosystem are there at the moment. Having a good time, but yeah, also will be hunkering down and doing what they need to do to bring Cardano to the next level. And I thought this was quite a nice little thing put together by the Book.io team. And this is ICANN Aiken, ETXO Smart Contracts on Cardano by John Green. So this is a book, an ebook that can help you learn how to build smart contracts on Cardano. So if you were interested in this particular book, you can get it on the Book.io. Let me just check if you can. Oh, there it is there. So it's not available just yet. So it's a promotion at the moment. I don't know when this one might be minting. There's 2,000 copies of it to go. But when this is up online, you can get this ebook and you can start using it to learn how to write smart contracts. So this is brilliant. It's self-publishing on the, John Green, same guy that did Cardano for the Masses. Great. So this is all going to be minted through Book.io, so you can get your copy there. I'll put links down below so you can get a copy of that when it does come online. But this is really cool stuff. So if you want a free copy here, just follow us, like this post, repost it, to do this thing and that thing. There we go, done. You can possibly get a copy of this book. I have to tag a friend as well. I don't have any friends. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. There we go. Tagged a friend. Vitalik is a friend of mine. But yeah, you can get a copy of that book. But if you don't, maybe I'll try and purchase a couple of copies and I'll give it away on my channel as well. Anyway, that's Buidler Fest. Awesome stuff. Can't wait to see what comes out of it. If I do see any really cool things, I'll put a follow-up video up and talk all about what's happening there. Unfortunately, this is an event just focused for developers, so media people, YouTubers such as myself aren't really welcomed, but that's okay. We'll find out what happens and I'll report on it as soon as I can. Now, I want to go through some DeFi opportunities or general opportunities from the ecosystem as well. Now, the other week, the Palm token did launch. So they went through their token generation event and they turned on all these various aspects such as liquidity pools and also how to claim your tokens through drip drops and also how to start staking your tokens as well. So all this is now online at portal.palmeconomy.io. They've also got a huge amount of tokens already staked within the ecosystem. So let me just pull up the live data here. We're at 481 million Palm tokens staked within their platform. So if you were part of their ISPO and you were staking for those tokens, such as I did, but I haven't claimed them yet, you can go to Drip Drops, claim your tokens there, then go through this platform and then start staking it on there to earn some more rewards. They will have an estimate rewards calculator on there as well, so you can see your APR for staking. So it's a nice way of earning some more of these tokens if you're a believer of their ecosystem. So that's some nice opportunities there. They have various liquidity pools and everything else launched on the various DEXs out there. So if you're looking to buy some, you can. But before you get into any of this stuff, please do your own research. Please understand that this is all risky stuff. If you don't know what you're getting into, probably shouldn't get into it. Educate yourself before diving in. Now, this is also not a endorsement of the project. I'm just a big fan of what they're doing in general, delivering commodities and real-world assets on the Cardano blockchain. So this is just brilliant stuff overall. But please do your own research, not just for this, but for all the projects that I do talk about. Now, they do have the Eternal wallet working for this Palm staking as well. So it's not every single wallet is working at the moment, but Lace and Eternal is working. So if you're using one of those two wallets, I use both of these, it should work perfectly fine. The other thing that you may want to know is that the Palm economy is a cross-chain token. So you can actually cross-chain swap it over to the Ergo ecosystem and Binance Smart Chain. Awesome. So you can move this token around all over the place. Cross-chain token swaps, Palm and RS Palm. So you have the opportunities there to move this token around to different ecosystems, get more exposure on different DEXs platforms as they start launching over there as well. So lots of opportunities there, and awesome to see that the Palmara team, the Palm economy, took advantage of Rosen Bridge to move assets over. Now, if we want to look into some borrowing lending protocols and some APY out there for the various ecosystem tokens, USDA, they've been doing some amazing stuff in driving liquidity within the ecosystem. But here on Liquid Labs, you can now get a 5% APY for any USDA lenders. There's the highest yield for USDA across any Cardano DeFi protocol above 1 million liquidity. So this is what we're looking at the moment here. Let me open this up in a new tab so you can see it in more detail. There we go. So if you supply USDA as a asset to borrow, there it is. You got borrowing APY 16.24%, supply APY 4.63%. So really good, nice yield there. We've got some other yields in regards to USDM, 1 USD, 1 USDT, IUSD, and 1 DAI as well. So nice APYs there, but definitely the highest there for USDA across any of the DeFi DEXs, etc. So this is a good opportunity if you believe in some of these stable assets to dive in and get some extra earnings through the Cardano ecosystem. So awesome work there from the Liquid Finance team. I don't cover these guys enough, and I don't do much borrowing and lending or providing of liquidity on these platforms. Maybe I should, because if you're earning an extra 4.63%, to 6% on one chain USD, it's kind of worth it. It's earning you rewards. So it's an opportunity that you should look into. Again, do look into the risk and reward factors for all this type of stuff before jumping into any of it. Now, on the other side here, we also have Indigo synthetic assets, and the indie stakers in previous epoch here had a nice 30% HRA with most of it paid out in ADA, 25% of it. That is really good. So if you're providing indie stake within their ecosystem, you're getting ADA rewards, like straight up ADA. What could be better than that? Probably straight up USD, so you can exit and pay for bills or whatever it is. So this is a nice DeFi opportunity there for a lot of users. And Indigo is another protocol that I don't use much, and again, I probably should. And they've been playing around with some really interesting assets here, iSolana. So now you can have synthetic SOL tokens within the Cardano ecosystem as well. So if you're interested in getting some exposure into Sol's, the SOL token, you can. I don't know why you would, but you can. So the SOL stability providers here are crushing it with a 30% HRA, staking Indy to provide iSOL stability, and they now earn yield on the platform too. So if I zoom in on this, you can see the staked iSOL, staked value, and all the details around it. So if you're interested in this one, I'll put links down below so you can find out a little bit more about it too. Now, VyFinance have been working on this OTC feature, and they said it was going to be released on the 22nd of April. I saw another updated post. This is now available on Testnet, and I will, after this video, test it out and see how it all works. So the OTC things, I said in my last video that it's mainly for whales. So someone probably watched it and wanted to correct me here. OTCs aren't just for whales. Avoid slippage on big buys and sells, trade privately, no moving the market, easy for beginners, direct buy, selling, matching. So this is a nice way. I can put in like ADA that I want to sell for USDA at a certain price, and anyone that wants to match that price for my, and anyone that wants to match that price or and sees that and wants to match it, they can do so without moving the needle on any of the dexes. So this is a really nice way of going about trading without worrying about slippage, price impact, or anything like that that you get on a lot of the major dexes. So this is absolutely awesome. So you can always put up a buy or a sell order, and hopefully it matches up with someone that agrees with those particular prices. So if you want to try this out, you can. The other cool thing about this is that it is a Plutus v3 script. This is the first one out there, first project to release a Plutus v3 smart contract and put it up there for the community to use. So this is more pioneering stuff from the VyFi team. Have I told you how much I like VyFi? It was the first ISPO that the first ICO that I participated in since 2017. So that's how much confidence I had with the project. So I jumped in the early days in the ICO to support the project and also hopefully get some gains from it as well. So big ups to the VyFi team there. And I will test that out and put up videos about that afterwards. Now, this is another big project, the USDM. They deserve a shout out here for bringing in the retail access for USDM on the 1st of May. So today's recording, 23rd of April, so not long to go. They will allow all users to mint USDM from their platform. These are the states in the US where you will be able to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, so it's still the 19 states that they initially started with. So hopefully they get more states on board as they start going through and trying to get it mass acceptance across the US. So hopefully we see that soon. International users are also eligible for this. They are physically located in one of these states of the time of minting. Ah, right. So you only need to fly over to Hawaii, do your minting, and then you can get out and it's all good. Okay. Interesting. So accepted currencies, US dollar, USDC. So you can move in USDC from another chain over to it and get working and start minting. So that's absolutely brilliant. What to expect post-launch? Our initial launch focuses on stable compliant access, but we are not stopping there. In the weeks following the launch, we'll roll out UX upgrades and new features to make minting, redeeming, and navigating your USDM dashboard even smoother. So this seems like a really good starting point for the team at the moment for retail. So really looking forward to seeing how the TVL numbers look after this particular launch. And hopefully we see a lot more people start jumping in because it makes it a little bit easier for them. So awesome work to the USDM team there at Moneta. And hopefully we see some good upswings for the team from here on in. Now I've got a bunch of shout outs for various projects in the ecosystem here. Now Metera, this was last week's update on the 15th of April, but they have now their liquidity pools live. So they went through their IDO, or the LP went to the MinSwap deck. So you'd be able to go through and swap for Metera tokens if you want. If you got some of the Metera tokens, you can sell them, do whatever you want. So this is the next big step forward for the team. They've managed to raise the funds and to get liquidity out in the ecosystem. Next step, launching. Yes, come on guys, launch. They're launching their index funds. So indexes for the Cardano ecosystem, and one of the big projects out there that have partnered with them is Xerberus. And Xerberus have their top 10 ADA index. So all these top 10 projects that are working and building within the ecosystem, you'll be able to get exposure to them via the index at Metera. You can buy in to that ADA 10 index and you get exposure to all those top 10 projects within the ecosystem. So you don't need to, the best thing about indexes is if one of them fails, you only lose that small portion. So if you were, for example, all in on token XYZ and suddenly they rug for whatever reason, you lose all your assets there. But if it was in an index and only 1/10 of that overall index was allocated to that token, if they rugged, you only lost 10%. So it's not as much of an impact. Of course, you don't get as much of a gain as well. So if token ABC goes to the moon, you don't see the massive gains, but you still do see a portion, a small amount of that gain across your portfolio. So it's a nice way of getting into the Cardano ecosystem, gaining that type of exposure, but not needing to worry about monitoring the markets constantly and wondering what's going on. You let those guys manage the index, the exposure and the risk of the various projects. And then all you need to do is buy one single token and you get exposure across the whole Cardano ecosystem. So indexes, I absolutely love. It's very similar, pretty much the same as the S&P index or the Dow Jones index or the NASDAQ. You can buy into those particular indexes and get exposure to the top companies trading within that particular index. So it works on the same premise. And I can't wait for these guys to actually launch so I can get my hands on those particular sources of investment channels. So I'm looking forward to this one. Next shout out here I want to give is to Strike Finance, and they've got the derivatives play, but they're working on their perpetuals at the moment. So they've just gone through their first audit, almost complete, bunch of improvements they have to do. But after this audit, hopefully we'll see more about their perpetuals. This allows you to do put and call options on the Cardano ecosystem with absolutely no time limit. So you can go long on a particular token, ADA, for example, and if you think it's going to go up tenfold in the next 10 years, then you can just keep that option onto the ecosystem on their platform, and people can trade against that, etc. But you don't need to worry about it because you're going for an extremely long time in the future. So you can set and forget, come back in 5 years, ADA price has gone up and you're all good. You can execute on that particular smart contract and get your gains. So it's a really nice opportunity here. Other ecosystems have perpetuals and it just works really well for them. So hopefully we do see this one launch soon. It's good to see that they have their audit. I'm not sure who's doing the audit. I have to get those details, but this is something I'm definitely watching for as well. I'll give a shout out to Danogo, who are doing their fixed rate testnet at the moment. They did have a live stream that was going through and testing out the amount of calls and just doing back-end testing and monitoring while this testnet was going. They did get a good amount of reach as well. So if you're interested in what Danogo are doing, check out the links down below and you can find out more about what they're building there too. This next one here is Nunet. Now, I did submit an application for this as well. So if you want to get access to this, links to their Google form there. But this was last month, so almost a month ago. But this is for the Nunet appliance and it's testing live. You can check out their platform and see what they're doing. They're doing the whole decentralized compute and decentralized storage as well. So similar to what IGON are doing. But they've come over from the Singularity Net ecosystem. So they've got a slightly different approach and I'd love to see this one fully launched as well. So I've done interviews with the teams in the past, so you can check that out on the channel as well and find out exactly what these guys are building. But I will be testing out their decentralized compute for stake pools. I've got the code. It was made available to me last week. So I'm going to try that out and see how and if it's cost effective to run a stake pool node within their ecosystem. Now, why is this important? Well, with the ADAOZ coming out with a lot more scaling capabilities for Cardano, when that comes out, we are also going to see the resource usage increase. So because we are processing more transactions per second and doing in parallel, we will need more compute power. We need more RAM. And Nunet could be a very good way of reducing that cost. So for a lot of small stake pool operators out there at the moment, you have to run several nodes. So you have to run at least 2 relay nodes. If one relay goes down, you have a backup. So that's 2 nodes. And then your block producer. So that's 3 nodes. And you may also have a backup block producer as well. So that's potentially up to 4 nodes. But let's say it's just 3. And each one of those will cost roughly 90 US, which is the cheapest at the moment. So that's $180 US a month. And if this upgrade of ADAOZ comes in and doubles that price, you're going to look at $360 a month and also not minting a single block. That will kill any small stake pool operator out there. So having some options here. So you got bare metal, so you can buy the hardware and store at home. And if you're a small stake pool operator, I highly recommend you to start doing that now, preparing yourself for the next era. But you have those options here now with Nunet to get decentralized compute power and run your stake pools across that. This is really exciting stuff. So I'm going to try this one out and I'll report back and let you guys know how I go. I've got to report back to the team as well and let them know about my experience. But this is really, really exciting stuff. So if you want to check out what Nunet are doing and try out this Nunet appliance as well, links all down below. You can find out exactly what they're up to. Now, I wanted to give out a shout out to this brand new podcast, and this is World Mobile Reclaimed Podcast with another Australian here. This is Koala Steve, stake pool operator over in Sydney. Met his daughter, which happened to be the bartender at Cardano meetup, which is so weird. She was just happened to be there, saw a whole bunch of Cardano t-shirts and went, "Hey, are you guys from Cardano? My dad's a stake pool operator." We were like, "What the?" And she introduced herself, and then we gave Koala Steve here a lot of grief for not rocking up to the event. But anyway, this is a brand new podcast that you can check into, listen to, and watch. And it talks all about World Mobile and what they're up to with World Mobile Chain. They got their live staking and all sorts of things as well. So World Mobile, I don't cover too much these days. They're not on the Cardano ecosystem anymore, and I've lost all my World Mobile tokens. Unfortunate story. It's in a wallet somewhere, and I've lost the seed phrase, and I have no idea where it is. So unfortunate about that. So I'm kind of bummed out of it because I've lost all my tokens. But if you are in the World Mobile ecosystem, brand new podcast for you guys to check out on a weekly basis. These guys are talking about the impact of what World Mobile can do. So do check out this podcast. It's really good. Now, if anyone else did want to shout out, I will do this on a regular basis. I'll put out a tweet and I'll post, I'm recording a video. Do you want to shout out? And I'll just, do a refresh here. But if anyone wants to shout out, they can check this particular post here. We'll reply to the post, and I'll just scroll through it to make sure that you always get a shout out. So the Tokyo team, they're doing some really cool stuff. They've got a bunch of really big updates. Nuvola have the Evola updates, and they've got some really interesting announcement of an announcement. I don't know what it is. They haven't left any clues, but it's something apparently big in the US. So I got no idea what it is. I'll report on that once details are actually out. USDM mentioned their retail stuff coming soon on the 1st of May. This here from Main Street, I haven't heard much from Main Street. I think it's not happening at the moment, but we'll see. Obimare, the stable coin, which is like not aggregate, combined stable coins across the ecosystem. So you can create the Obimare stable coin. I believe this is how it works, by providing liquidity of other stable coins. So it's like a homogeneous hybrid of all the stable coins out there. So it's a nice way of getting one single stable coin within the ecosystem by providing liquidity of all the other stable coins out there. So it's an interesting one. So if one of the stable coins fail, for example, you're not left with an empty bag like a lot of us were back when the bridge hack happened, the Nomad bridge happened back in 2022. So if one of the tokens, stable coins disappear, you don't have zero value, you only lose a portion of it. Same as an index, works exactly the same way. So an index of stable coins, that probably makes more sense. Shout out for Flux Point Studio here with their game Tribe. I did an interview with Decimalist last year, I think it was, and I played the game for a couple of hours, and I enjoyed it. It was a little bit laggy on my computer. My computer just does not have the resources for it, but I gave it a go, and I thought it was pretty cool. Jane, I gave a big shout out for as well. Jane, the lawyer that is in the Cardano ecosystem, she does some brilliant work and a lot of good posts. So do follow her if you haven't yet. I do follow her and check her posts regularly. And then we also have some various projects here. These are NFTs. SteelSwap, I haven't mentioned. I should be following them. There we go. SteelSwap, they're a really good DEX aggregator swap platform that charges almost no fees. So you can use their platform, do a swap there, and you get some decent swaps because they charge no fees, as opposed to Fetch or Dex Hunter, where they do charge fees on top. But still, try it out. SteelSwap, really good. Eternal Wallet, yes, I've already mentioned them many, many times. And we've, sure, Jason, you got a shout out there. Big Blimp, no idea what these guys are. Ah, right, yeah, they're part of the YAM4 Obimare ecosystem. Very good. DD holders. Oh, yeah, I haven't really talked about DD that much. Probably should look back into the DD ecosystem. What do we got here? Splash Protocol. Yep, should jump into Splash and see what they're doing too. And we've got a couple of shout outs for Constitution Committee members, Civic Committee, etc. We've got Gintama. I'm assuming he's from India. We've got lots of people going up for intersect voting. I did talk about this on Monday's video as well, so do check out that video. Then we got a bunch of other updates here. So not too many more shout outs there, but do check out this particular post if you want to find out who is building and doing some cool things within the Cardano ecosystem. All right, that's all I have for this particular update. Thank you so much for watching to the end here. Apparently watching to the end works the YouTube algorithm as well. So if you get bored, just leave it playing in the background and that works the algorithm for whatever reason. I don't get that. Leave a comment down below as well. Always love the comments. I try and reply to them as much as possible. I filter them a lot because of the spam. So if it doesn't appear straight away, it will appear eventually when I go through the filters. And also, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, make sure you hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video.